Hey everyone, it is Deb with the Flying Stamper. And if you're joining me, let me know that you're on. We are here to do the Share the Love virtual class, and I'm going to go over the projects with you. So with me, and I'd like to know that you're there. And I'm going to actually check my laptop real quick and make sure I am seeing myself. I did get a really weird response when I started the video out, so let me know that you're there. I see you guys are joining. Hi Val, can everyone hear me okay? I always worry about that too. And it takes a little while for my laptop to catch up, so it's going to give me a minute or two to get myself up so I can see what's going on. And that'll give everybody a little chance to get in position and get ready for this fun little overview of the Share the Love. Okay, great. Thanks, Val. I appreciate it. All right, I'm still trying to find myself on my laptop. I hope everyone is having a really good Sunday. And you're all excited about getting this stuff done. These projects are really fun this month, and I am excited to share them with you. Okay, good. It looks like I'm on. I'm seeing myself. So, hey, Diana, good to see you. Hi, Lynn. Yay, lots of people here. So, really be curious to see how you guys like doing this in the afternoon versus evening. I'm hoping there will be less shadows. The lighting will be a little bit better. My brain will function maybe a little bit better. So, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Before I get started, I do want to let you guys know I did do things a little differently with my door prizes this month. I did not have time to do an extra video, so I just hand drew those, and I promise it was ethical, and I did put you all in the drawing. I did post a photo of who won those door prizes. And this is also a little bit different where we're doing the video after you've picked up your porch pickups, and everybody that I mailed out has already received their kits too, so the mailman did a super good job this month. So let me know how this works for you. I have mixed emotions about doing it after versus before, because I know you get your kits and you go home and you want to play. And for the most part, that probably is okay. This class was a little more complicated than the other ones, so if you came to the porch pickup, I explained a few things to you. So the first thing I want to show you before we get started, though, is this morning I repurposed a paper pumpkin box, and I covered it with the True Love DSP. And I'm going to actually put the measurements of the box in the album with the outtakes. This is actually going to go to my daughter for Mother's Day. And so inside of it is all those outtakes of black and white cards that I have been making all month. So she's getting 6 cards inside this repurposed paper pumpkin kit. So there's the kitty one, and then there's the drapery fold one. And here's this pretty one that used up a bunch of little scrap pieces. And let's see, I think that's all that's on this side. Okay, this one, again, using up scraps, and I brought the dragonfly in, and I colored the dragonfly's wings. And then I know you guys that got to come to the porch pickup just really loved the donkey. This is actually going to be, I got to repeat this card before I mail it to her. I think it's a good kid card. I want to give it to my great nephew. And then this last one, which looks like that. And so this last one, I just want to talk to you about it for a minute. So you see all these little strips? These were all left over when I got through cutting one of your projects. And normally I would throw a strip like that in the garbage because it's really not that much to do with it. So what I did, though, because there were so many of them, is I just repurposed them and laid them on this card. And it's really a nice looking card. So sometimes we shouldn't throw those scraps away. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this up, and we are going to get started. I see lots of people have joined us. Thank you very much for coming and joining the party today. I appreciate that. Again, I will put the dimensions for the repurposed paper box on the outtake file later today. All right, so You received all the leftovers from your kit. This is all I have left. You had a lot more. You have some full sheets. I've been busy with this stuff. You'll have to get into this to grab out some of your images, and I'll point those out to you as we go along. So we're going to start out with this mini slimline card. And this opens up, and it is lined on the inside so that you can write it. So you get to see both sides of the beautiful designer series paper with this type of a card. This is the gorgeous grape organdy ribbon that is in the mini catalog, and I use the Jar of Fun stamp set and coordinating punch, which I think most of you have, and then if you didn't have it, you had something that was similar. If anyone has any trouble with anything, I'm willing to loan you my set, or you can come over and stamp and grab real quick. I want you to be able to make your images. So I use this image out of the stamp set, and the reason why I use that is because I thought it went really well with the DSP, but actually any of these will probably look okay, maybe not the daisies. And then I use this image on the jar. So let's talk about what your kit looks like. And what you need to be careful with. So when you open your kit up, there's one little tiny baby embellishment. So make sure that doesn't fall on the floor or somewhere weird and get lost on you. And then you've got your ribbon, and you've got your gorgeous grape to stamp on, and then you've got your liner. So you're going to glue all of this stuff down. And I like to use the liquid glue to do all of my gluing. And I know a lot of you guys don't like glue, but I feel like this holds really well, and it's very reasonable. The only thing that you have to be careful with is that you don't get too close to the edge of your paper. It does have a little bit of drying time, so you can move things around if you don't get them quite the way you want, which is nice because I rarely get anything straight. Okay, so that's on there, and then we're going to glue the liner on the inside. And that goes about right there. All right, I'll let that sit for a second. While that is sitting, this is your little greeting, and I used some little teeny tiny words on there. So you're going to have to look for some little words. Paper pumpkin might be a really good place. Look at your past Paper Pumpkin sentiments, because there's always lots of great sentiments in there. I'm using the Memento Tuxedo Black pad, and it's a little bit bigger than the stamp, kind of hard to see it. So if you lay the stamp on its back and ink it up, you'll get a nice good inking. Many of you guys have this pad, and a couple of you actually just bought it. Make sure you store it upside down so the ink is all nice and juicy and at the top. Okay, so then we're going to, then we're going to stamp that. Oh, I need my foam mat. Okay, that was not too good. Okay. Yeah, I need my foam mat. Well, the good news is that I did pre-cut this so that I wouldn't have to fussy cut in front of you, but I want to show you a few little things about the fussy cutting. So this is not a real good image. I'm going to throw it in the garbage, but I want to show you some tricks about fussy cutting, because you're going to do a lot of fussy cutting on this. So first trick is to use nice sharp short scissors. I like the paper snips, but there's lots of good little paper cutting scissors on the market. I only use these scissors for paper or ribbon. I don't use them on anything else. They're just for crafting. And so that's my first tip. And then the second tip is to turn the paper rather than the scissors. So I don't know if you can see that I am actually turning the paper rather than the scissors. And then you don't get those ugly cut marks. You get a nice clean cut around the outside of the image. And you don't want to cut the lines. You want to get close, but not all the way into the lines. Okay, I'm not going to fussy cut 101 in front of you, but this is what it looks like when it's done. So I pre-cut that. You will have to reach into your paper pack and grab out this piece of paper, and you should have a scrap. I think you might even have something smaller than that. I've used so much of my paper. and you'll stamp your jar on that. So that's where that image comes from. So we'll get our little jar and ink that up. Okay, so your jar is a polka dotted jar, and then it's got some lines through it. And then you're going to punch it out with your jar punch. Okay, so now assembly. And I'm not going to assemble in front of you guys. You guys all know how to do all this stuff. But we're going to put this ribbon underneath that. And I kind of tied it on the side. Let's put that there so we can see what's going on. So I might make up stuff because I actually made this card, you know, like about a month ago. Okay, I left your ribbon extra long so that you would have plenty of room to tie it. So then you'll need to trim that up. So it's too long. Okay, now everybody got shimmery crystal effects from me in this nice pretty tube. And this is a really great product. If you use the crystal effects in the past, you will find that it dried out, and this one doesn't dry out. So my tips on that are to store it so that it's down, because I've used this and you can see that it's down. So I've used probably about a quarter of it already. And then what I did was I assembled all of this. And I'm not going to do that right now, but I'm going to show you what I did. So I went through and I added it all over the jar, and you just squeeze it, and it's really easy to control. You know, sometimes this stuff blops out. This one does not do that. So, and then I just went back and forth. I wanted to make the mason jar look like glass. That was my goal. And then I put a little bit in the center of the flowers. And I could kind of say you could take that or leave it. Now, the crystal, the shimmery crystal effects does take about 30 minutes to dry. So we'll set this to the side and let it dry. Make sure that you do set it flat and don't stand it up like this while it's wet, because the shimmery crystal effects will probably run down and get on the rest of your project. All right, I'm moving this out of the way. And we're going to go on to the next project. So that's project number 1. So it's really a good thing to come to the March class because that's my birthday month, and we always have a birthday present for everyone. So everyone got a little extra bonus with that shimmery crystal effects. One little tip I'm going to tell you is don't ever miss the class in December or March, because those are present months. Okay, so here's our next card, and this is the double time technique. And I use the rectangle framelits to cut this piece out of this piece. So when you open this one up, you're going to find quite a few little embellishments in it, so be careful with it. You got ribbon, you've got little hearts, you've got a silver heart, and you've got all these pieces, and then you've got this thing that looks like a frame, and you've got a liner. So let's just start gluing, and then we'll start doing. Okay, so you have a piece of computer paper. That's your liner for the inside. And the reason why you have that is it's impossible to, unless you use a white chalk marker or some kind of a metallic marker, you can't stamp anything in here, and you can't sign anything in here. So we'll put a white liner in here. Whenever I print something off my printer and it's only got like half the sheet is printed, I just save it and I cut it into 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then I can use it for these liners. Okay, so now we'll take this that looks like a frame right now and glue that. So that goes on top of the card. Okay, now you have this black layer and you have this. So this is where it gets just a smidge tricky. So we'll glue this to this, and then I'll tell you what you need to look for. And don't be concerned about this. It's where your punch came out, so that's a paper saving tip. And it's getting covered, so it doesn't matter. It's a great way to save paper, and it's a great way to keep your project a little bit lighter in weight, because sometimes our cards get kind of heavy, and then you get that extra surcharge at the post office. Okay, so here's the trick on this. You've got to make sure that you line this back up with where it was cut out. It's like a little puzzle. So do you see that part of the rose, and then you can see this part? So that's the puzzle part of that. And I use dimensionals. Oops, I just realized. I should have put this on before. All right, so that needs to be done before you glue this together. All right, everyone? So that should have gone wrapped underneath there. So I'm gonna have to make an adjustment. That's the thing I love about stamping. There is a way to fix everything. And I'm gonna show you how to do that just in case you get so excited that you do the exact same thing that I just did. All right, so there we go. All right, did I get that lined back up? I'll get that out of there. Yeah, that's where it goes. Okay. All right, so we have a couple options here. We can make a little knot on both sides and just make it look like we wanted it to be like that. I think that's what we're going to do. And then I'll just use a couple glue dots to anchor that down. And it's a pretty short piece, so you don't have a lot to work with, so I truly hope you don't make the boo-boo that I made. But if you do, you got some backup plans. Okay, so I'll put that there. How's the lighting, you guys? It seems like when I'm looking at it, I don't see a bunch of shadows, so I kind of like that, because when I do it at night, it seems like there's always shadows. I have to turn all the lights on for it to be bright enough for me to see what's going on. Can't shoot in the dark. Okay, I need to get my take-a-pic tool out. Okay, so the sentiment that I used on this one is sending love your way, and it came from the January paper pumpkin kit. So I need to get my foam mat out. So give me 1 second here to grab that guy. Sorry about that. I try to be as organized as I can. I was on here earlier practicing, but it's always some little thing. And I guess it's okay. Then you can see that I too make boo-boos. All right, now I gotta find my black pad that was in the other box. What did I do with the other box? It's fun to be me today. Okay, remind me not to put the black pad away. All right, thanks for the info on the lighting. I appreciate that. All right, so sending love your way. I thought this could be a thinking of you card, or a sympathy card, or even a birthday card, or, you know, even a love, you know, an anniversary or a wedding card, or whatever. But I kind of thought it would make a really good thinking of you, or a sympathy card. And I have actually a need to mail somebody one of those. I have a friend right now, her husband's been battling cancer for a while, and he's in his final stages now, so I need to mail her a card tomorrow. This poor thing. Okay, so 2 dimensionals on each side. Okay, so now we have this cute little heart, and the way that I attached that heart was with a glue dot. And I kind of folded it. I don't know if you can see what I did there with the take-a-pic tool, but I kind of folded a little bit because it's too fat otherwise. And I just hung it kind of down. Kind of like it's hanging off the card. All right, and then I have 2 little red embellishments. And you guys got hearts I ran out of hearts. And these are the little resin hearts. There was red ones and white ones in the mini catalog. And I had just enough for you guys, but I didn't have any extras for my samples, but that's okay. So now I've got those little red ones on there. All right, so it looks a lot better with the ribbon going all the way across it. So don't make that little mistake that I made. Okay, all right, we are done with that one. I do want to tell you a little trick though. That little red dot that I put on here was actually clear, and I colored it with one of the Stampin' Blends to get it that color. So if you have stamping blends, you can color any of your pearls or your rhinestones or any of your accessories and change up the color. The other thing that works is just a good old-fashioned Sharpie. Regular markers will not work. They are water-based and they'll just wipe off. But the blends will work and a Sharpie will work. Okay, let's move on to another card. And this one is like my favorite. Tons of texture on it, tons of texture. So this is embossed with the Pinewood Plank folder, which is a really nice folder, especially for mail cards. And then you've got two of the vellum doilies, which they're really pretty. I was trying to make it work with one, but you needed two to make this all come together. So when you open this one up, you're going to find a lot of little things inside of it as well. So let's go through what you're going to find and then what you're going to have to dig for. All right, so you're going to find this paper, and don't be cutting on this. Well, in fact, we're going to deal with this right away. So, and then you're going to find two doilies and a black layer with a bunch of punch outs, a Pinewood Plank layer, and some black ribbon. And we're going to deal with that black ribbon right away, right? Because we learned on the red what not to do, correct? Okay, so this is actually going to be on your envelope flap. Isn't that pretty? So don't cut into this and make it one of your pieces here. And what you're going to do is just glue around the top. Don't come all the way down on this because there's overhang on the envelope. Okay, so we're just going to lay it on there, and it's going to be just about the right size to go on there. You're going to have a little bit of overhang. I'm going to take those sharp scissors again and trim that off. And that's all that is for making that flap match your card. Easy peasy, warm and squeezy. Remember to turn your paper, not your scissors, when you get to the corners on the envelope. Okay, there we go. Easy. Great way to use up little scraps and stuff. All right, so let's talk about the assembly of this. Keep that black ribbon right in front of my face so I don't mess that up. So we're going to put a little bit of glue around the edge of the basic white piece that has been embossed with the Pinewood Plank. Okay, and then we're going to take the two doilies. And you can glue these down, or you could even probably tape them or glue dot them. Just make sure that you keep the glue down in here so it's going to get covered by the, we're going to fussy cut that out so it's going to get covered. All right, now we're going to take this black ribbon before I mess it up. I have to let that sit for a second or two. All right, and then you can either use a piece of Scotch tape to anchor that down or a couple of glue dots. I'm thinking I might need another pack of this True Love DSP. I'm sure it's going to retire. By the way, the retiree list is coming out this week. I believe it's the 24th of March when we will see that. Everything is a little bit earlier this year because the new catalog rolls out earlier too. That rolls out on May 3rd. And if you have signed up for the Fond Farewell class next month, you will get your catalog when you pick up your kit. And if you haven't, then you will get it via mail a little bit later in the month, or I will hand deliver it to you if you're in my neighborhood. Okay, so that all gets glued there. I think we're missing a couple of things. So you should have in your little thing 3 black of the matte black dots. 2 kind of go up in here and 1 goes down there. So now you're going to have to reach into your paper pack and find some pieces to cut. So this will be one piece, and then we're going to actually cut another one, and the other one is going to go inside here. So I'm going to cut that one really quick. So we're going to fussy cut that. So if you look right at your scraps in there, you should have a scrap and it's flat. This is flat right against the edge of the paper, and it's perfect for putting on the inside of a card. It could go on the back too. It would be kind of a cute way to finish off the back of a card. You can put it wherever you want. You can fussy cut as many as you want because you have tons of paper. Isn't that cool that you have all that paper to play with? Sometimes you have a project and it's like, I want to repeat that, but I don't have that paper. Well, that is not going to be a problem with this event. You've got plenty of paper and you can repeat all of these projects if you want, multiple times. Okay, so that's fussy cut. Put that on the inside. Okay, I'm going to fussy cut this later, but I'm going to show you that I took the Shimmery Crystal Effects and put it right in the center of these flowers. And you probably won't be able to see it very well. It's really pretty. It's really shimmery. It's almost iridescent. So you're going to want to leave that and let it dry for about 30 to 40 minutes. Make sure you store it flat, because if you store it up like this, the Shimmery Crystal Effects is going to run down your card and ruin the rest of it. Okay, so we'll put that over there, and we will move on to the next project. How are you guys doing? I know it's a little bit longer of a video because we have 6 projects, and there's a little more complicated than some of our other classes, so they're going to take a little bit longer, but I know you guys will have a good time putting them together, and in the end it's worth it. Okay, so this next one is our guy card, and I use the blending brushes to turn the paper yellow. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Tammy. If you don't want to do that, you can just leave it black and white, because it looks good either way. I just wanted to show you how versatile this paper is. You can just do so many things with it. Okay, so let's get our little kit out. All right, so when you open this, you're going to find a couple of punch outs, a couple of different pieces of DSP, and 2 more of those matte black. And so we're going to go ahead and do the sponging, or the blending. I use Bumblebee. If you don't have Bumblebee, I'm pretty sure So Saffron or Crushed Curry will work. Or any light yellow if you have one of the like older yellows. And we're going to use this side because we want to make this a guy card, but if you don't want a guy card, you can use this side. It's your project. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so most of you guys have blending brushes. So remember that we tap it into the ink pad. It's dry, it's not wet. And then we work it out a little bit on our scrap paper so that it doesn't go on real heavy. And then we just brush it back and forth until we get it the color that we want. And I just remembered that when I do this, my camera moves. So I should probably be doing this on a different table. Oops, I forgot to tap off, and now I've got an ugly mark. I guess that's where the dragonfly will go. Get rid of the ugly mark with the dragonfly. That's another opportunity. You know, they're not boo-boos. They're opportunities to change up the project a little bit, right? I can't tell you how many rhinestones and punch-outs have saved a project for me over the years. Okay, and we got to get this little strip with a little bit of yellow in it too. Okay, all right, I'm going to go ahead and take the yellow out because we are actually using this on another project that is not yellow. And so I don't want to mix up my inks later. Okay, all right, we're done with that. We're not done with the pad though. Okay, this is called the book binder fold. So you have a fold that you need to fold back, and then you need to glue this down. So it kind of opens like a hardback book. Now you will need a strong adhesive in here. So again, our friend liquid glue is a very strong adhesive, and that would be what I would recommend. I know for a fact snail will not hold this, it'll pop open. So I wouldn't recommend snail. If you don't have liquid glue, if you have the tear tape, that will probably work. If you have the strong, oh, there was an adhesive that we used to sell. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I know some of you have it. That would work. If you have the strong stamp and seal, that would work. I'm not 100% sure about the regular stamp and seal. You could, I know some of you guys have it. You could try that and see if that works. But liquid glue works. I'm kind of thinking that this might hold it too. Because this is an adhesive as well, but personally I wouldn't want to waste any of that shimmery stuff as an adhesive unless I didn't have any other option. Okay, so we're going to put that on there, and this on here. The strip goes over here. All right, then you have these two punch outs for your sentiment, and I used It's Your Day from A Good Man because I'm going to make this into a Father's Day card. But you know, there's lots of good sentiments in the Paper Pumpkin this month and the last few months. So grab a sentiment out of there if you don't have something in a stamp set that you like. Okay, so that goes there. That way there. And then, okay, so now you're going to grab your dragonfly stamp, and you're going to have to go back and get another scrap. So you can probably use the one that you punched the jar out from earlier. Isn't that amazing? I found that. If you guys ever came in here while I was doing this, you would just go, what in the heck? I have one mess on one side of the room, and I just transfer it over. Okay, so now we're going to punch out the dragonfly. So that was Bumblebee that I stamped the dragonfly in. And again, if you don't have Bumblebee, use whatever yellow you do have. Okay. I think I can close this up now. Yeah, I'm done with that. This stuff out of here. Maybe we'll put the dragonfly on the corner of the envelope too. Always a nice look. Okay. Okay, this gets glued to this. And you should have two more of those black matte dots. So one on either side. If you guys are missing anything, please let me know. Sooner rather than later would be good. Some things I'm starting to run low on. I always try to keep a few extras of everything just in case something is missing. Because I am human and it's possible that something didn't make it into your envelope. Okay, all right, now you've got a piece of twine that I tied up the side. When I was looking at this bookbinding fold, some people were making divots in the edge to make the twine stay, but I didn't feel like we needed to be doing that. This twine stays fine on here. But if you Google bookbinding fold, you may find some people were doing that. So, all right, so it makes kind of a big knot, and I actually trimmed that off and hit it with the dragonfly. You can do whatever you want. You don't even have to put the dragonfly on there if you don't want. And if you want to make it a really feminine card, you could substitute butterflies. Okay. All right, so that's the dude card. What do you guys think? Kind of a fun fold. I've never done this one before that I can remember. And again, if you want to just leave it black and white, it's pretty cool in that format too. Okay, we have 2 more projects. Can you believe it? Are you guys doing okay? You're hanging in? So far the Wi-Fi seems to be holding really well. You know, last month when I did it at 7 p.m. at night, I got kicked out a few times. That wasn't very much fun. Okay, talk about our next project. All right, so this one is very, very pretty. And it's the other one that we're going to use the blender brushes on. So let's talk about what you're going to find inside here. This is actually really easy to put together. There's not a lot going on here. Just have to remember to attach the ribbon before you turn into a glue maniac, Deb. Okay, so you actually have 2 different sides that you're going to work with. It's the same sheet of paper, but I just use both sides of it. And you're going to find that you have this punched out of this. And again, that's just paper saving tip. So before I do that, I want to actually blender brush this. Now the colors that I used are Pear Pizzazz and Blushing Bride. And I just chose those because the ribbon is Blushing Bride. You could use Petal Pink, or if you have any of the older pinks, those would work. Any green will work. Old Olive will work. Most people have Old Olive. Mossy Meadow will work. Whatever you have will work. And you can even leave it black and white if you want. You don't have to color it if you don't want to. Okay, I've got all the yellow out. So I'm going to tap it into the Petal Pink, or Blushing Bride. So sorry that this moves this around. Yes, I'm a glue maniac. I want to glue it right away, which is a big mistake when you have other things you have to do. Thanks, Tammy. I am a glue maniac. Okay, so I'm just hitting the flowers. And you'll notice I'm going direct in here because it doesn't really matter. I want lots of variations. I'm not trying to cover a whole area. We're not even going to get out it all. We're going to leave some of it white. It's going to look kind of like watercolory. It's just beautiful when we get through with it. So we don't need to have every inch of it colored. It's okay to leave it some white. And it's okay not to have it all even. We're looking, you know, like the sun's on it, or shadow is cast on it, a little shading. Okay, now we got to get this off. You know, I'm going to step off camera so I can really scrub it and not bounce you guys all around. I can only imagine what that feels like. Okay, I got the pink off. I love these brushes, you guys. So when I'm all done with this, I'll just run it in underneath my sink in my kitchen, and all the color will come out, and it'll look just like brand new again. So you don't really need a whole bunch of them. They do come in a 3-pack. I think they're currently unorderable. Haven't checked on that lately, but they were unorderable earlier this month. Okay, so now I'm just going in with the Pear Pizzazz and adding some green on the vines and the leaf area. And the fun thing about this is it's going to turn out completely different than the other one because they're all individual, and just, you know, the paper just absorbs the ink differently, and you're randomly kind of going in and adding it in different spots, so it won't look the same as the other one. And that's okay. They're all little individual masterpieces. Okay, so we're going to add it. That's it. It doesn't take very long. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this paper. I mean, and we didn't even scratch the surface. There's more stuff that you could do with this paper that I didn't even get to. Okay, so now the glue maniac can glue, except I went about this backwards. Oh my gosh, what a ding dong. Okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, Deb? All right, so this one should have been the one that I was painting on. And that's not what happened. So what I'm going to do is trim this down a little bit. So I'm going to step off camera. Do you love this? I'm really dinging up today. I'll have to write myself better notes. Okay. You know, I had a funny feeling about today. You know how you just have that feeling about something is not going to be quite the way you wanted it to turn out? So it actually looks better this way. So I'm going to wing it a little bit because I'm actually going to put another layer in behind there to kind of bring that up. So I'm not going to completely assemble this so I can do that. Yeah, I know, Karen. At least you guys have something to laugh about. I'll go have a glass of wine and cry in my wine glass later. Probably not. I'll survive. Okay, so I would normally put that on top of this and glue it down. I'm going to instead cut a black layer and put that on top of that just to make it pop a little bit more. So let's talk about the label. Thanks, Tammy. You're right. Embellishment moments. I mean, I know you guys all make mistakes too. I talk to people about this all the time. It's like, they're not mistakes. They're stamping embellishment opportunities. Okay, so we're going to cut this in half so that it can layer behind this. And the stamp set that I used is the Dragonfly one. I never have enough thank you cards. So that's why I picked that. And I thought I had gotten the thank you out earlier. Oh, here it is on the next card. So this says, thank you for your kindness. And it is from Dragonfly Garden. I'm finding these sentiments in this stamp set to be extremely useful. I don't know if you guys have found that yet, but they're pretty good sentiments. Oh, I didn't even stamp on the pad, and that turned out fine. All right. So when you do this, you're going to go, maybe leave about 1/4 of an inch around. Whoops. See, that's the thing about glue. It still moves a little bit for you, but that's okay. We saved it. So what you end up with is this. And you don't see any of that layer right there, right? But that's okay because I cut these little flowers for you. And I put them up on dimensionals and pop them up a little bit, and that covers that edge up for you. So you won't even notice it. All right. Okay, so those little pearls, look for those on the bottom of your envelope. They were still hiding in mine. And the pearls are actually from the Occasions catalog too. They're called pastel pearls. Really pretty colors. You're going to see those again next month because they're just so pretty. And they go really well with Purple Posy. Purple Posy's retiring, so we got to showcase it one more time. All right, you guys got it? You got it? Kind of know what you're supposed to do there. I got the hard stuff right. Just make sure you look at your sizes before you start brushing like I just did. Okay, all right, I'm gonna put that away and we're gonna go to the last one and let's see what I can do to this one. This one is our more complicated one. It's a beautiful card though. All right, so it pops up and it's like a little framed piece of art. And this is the front of the card, and then the back is where you put your sentiment and you sign it. And then the recipient can just have it, they can just have it sitting around all year. And this is just such a cute little sentiment. This is also from that Dragonfly Garden. All right, so this one is kind of important when you dig around in your pack with what you do with things. So you're going to find that you have a paper clipped set of paper and DSP. Keep that paper clipped until I explain why. And then you've got this paper that's got a lot of score lines on it, and you've got your punches, and you've got a couple of rhinestones. Okay, so let's talk first about this paper. And it's kind of important how you fold this. So these two fold back. So the ones closest to the center fold back. And then find your other ones. And this is where a bone folder would come in real handy. I'll use my Take-A-Pick tool. You want to set those folds really well. Okay, all right, so then that's how that stands up. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so now this goes in the center. I would glue that down first so you don't, before you unpaper clip these, so there's no opportunity to put the wrong pieces together. This area is a little bit wider than these outside panels, and so that's why this is kind of important. If you glue the wrong panel down, then you're going to be off on your sizing. Okay, all right, so there's that. Let's go ahead and get the sentiment out of the way. I think I'll do another thank you card, because I never have enough. Okay, there we go. All right, and that gets glued to that. And we'll set that to the side for now. Okay, so here we now have these two panels. So now we can take the paper clip off, and we can glue the black panels to the white sides. All right, now the fun begins. Coloring. We all love to color, right? So on this one, I used the Rococo Rose marker and the Granny Apple Green, I believe is what that's called, for the leaves. And then I colored the negative, or the non-floral part, with the Rococo Rose marker as well. I'm going to do this one a little bit differently just to show you some different colors. I'm going to use the Purple Posy blend, and I'm going to use the coloring end. You have a script end and a coloring end, or an end to get into finer details. So you're going to have to kind of pay attention to this. You can't, you know, with the blends, a lot of times you can just be super sloppy, but we're trying to stay outside of the lines in this particular instance. I really like this Purple Posy blend. I think a couple of you guys won these recently, so you will have the pleasure of doing this. That's the beauty of this project. There's no color in it, so you can use any color you want. You could use red, you could use peach, you could use any of the pinks. You can use whatever markers you have. Or if you don't want to color, if you don't like to color, you don't have to. It's okay to leave it black and white if that's what you would like to do. It's your project. Okay, so we're going to fill in this whole area. And I'll finish up the one side. I don't think you need to watch me color both sides. Not that much fun. So just make sure that you color in all the negative space or the non-image part. And then, oh my gosh, I love that purple. Oh, there's a little spot in here. I'll probably find some more when I get off here. It's a little dark in here. So you glue that to there. Now, one thing about the blends is it does bleed through, but that's okay because we're not going to see it. If you were coloring on a piece of paper that you were going to see the back, then you might want to use a marker. The marker does not tend to bleed through. Okay. All right. Okay, then you reach into your paper pack again and find a scrap. So you want a flower that looks like this, and I pre-colored this one in. And then you want another one that looks like that. And then just fussy cut that out. And use that same little trick of turning the paper, not the scissors. And I used, I'm going to look at this blend, it's different. Oh, that's Granny Apple Green. I did use Granny Apple Green on this one too. I thought I was going to use something different, but I must have thought about it and then not done it. Have you done that before? You always plan of doing something, then you come in the room and you do something completely different, and then you go, well, I thought I was going to do that. But you spaced it out. Okay, oh, I really like that purple. And I did some highlighting and shadowing with that when I went into the flower, so you can do that if you'd like. Okay, so those all get popped up with dimensionals. Where are my dimensionals? Oh, they were right here a minute ago. Because you guys saw me use them, right? Oh, I put them in the box with the last project. I can't blame my husband. He's not allowed in here when I'm recording. All right, so we're going to put our sentiment on dimensionals, and then I put the flowers on dimensionals. And they do kind of hang off a little bit, so make sure you keep your dimensionals inside enough so that they're not hanging off and getting stuck like this. Don't put it on the edge of that. Okay, that's a little bit different than what I've got. You can't really go too much above or below the card because it's got to fit back in the envelope. So, all right, I've laid it out a little bit different. It should probably go the other way. So then you'll color that, and then you'll color another flower and attach that to that. And then you've got two rhinestones that I'll probably put one there and one there. You can put it on the sentiment too, depending on how your project lays out. I'm gonna actually stick it up here, and I'll put another one down here. And my fingers have a little glue on them, so things are sticking. So the other thing that you could do on this one too, if you were just having so much fun coloring, is cut another one out. And I did this one, it was right on the edge of the paper, color it and adhere it to the front of your envelope. These do have crystal effects in there, so I just put them in the centers of the colored flowers. And they add just a little shimmer and shine and a little dimension to the projects. I love this stuff. And what I really love about it is that it doesn't dry up, and it seems to just really, a little goes a long way. So when you get ready to mail this card or to give it out, you do have to fold it. It just fits in the envelope. There's a lot of dimension to it, so you have to work a little bit to get it in there. But you can see it fits perfect. It's a little bit thick, so it's probably going to require an extra stamp. You're probably going to have to do the 75 stamp so that it is hand canceled, so that it doesn't get all mangled in the postage machine. All right, you guys, that is it on projects. And my goodness, we're right at 1 hour. So thank you very much for hanging with me. Thank you for attending this class. I hope everybody really has a great time with their projects. If you have any questions about anything, just let me know. You can type it in here. I'm going to go through and read the comments later. And I will also publish the video so you can go back and find it. Let me know how you feel about getting your kit and then doing the video afterwards, because I want to make sure that works. You can put it in the comments, or if you want to just email me or text me or whatever, I don't care. Just let me know if you have any concerns about it, because there's pros and cons in my opinion about it. So I want to do what works best for everybody. The main thing I want to be able to work with is having a better video opportunity where it's not cutting in and out because of Wi-Fi being heavily used, and the lighting. I don't see any shadows, so I like that a lot. Have a great rest of the day. Have fun with your kit, and I will see many of you next month for the Fond Farewell. Watch for that retirement list later, and if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you will be excited to know there's a birthday party coming. I got my kit on Friday. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet, but as soon as I play with it, which I'm hoping to get tomorrow, then I'm going to publish an invitation to a Paper Pumpkin party, and there's going to be some door prizes and some favors, and that should take place sometime later this week. All right, have a really great day. Thanks again. Take care. Be safe. Bye.